turn that camera. There we go. Thought I had the
Hello.
camera facing the right way. Hello, darling. So I've got headphones on because whenever I do a live at the moment, I can't hear a bloody thing.
That's absolutely fine. You make headphones look glamorous as ever.
I thank you. I thank you.
Lovely.
I'm good. I'm good. I've just come off the back of another Black Maternal Health
Oh,
Roundtable.
wow.
So, constantly beating the drum, fighting the fight, etc., etc.
Of course.
But I'm well. I'm good.
Good.
The family are growing and going because the babies are about to do their A levels.
Wow.
So, yeah, an exciting time in our
You were
household.
just telling me about their GCSEs the other day. I swear you were saying they got the results.
Babe, I was just breastfeeding them the other day. I keep looking at this 6'2" boy thinking, who the hell are you and where's my baby?
I know. So that doesn't ever stop as they get older, no? Okay.
No, and then his absolutely gorgeous twin sister is like, wait, what? Where's my tiny baby?
Yeah.
Who is this delectable being in front of me? But hey ho,
Oh my gosh.
it happens.
So thank you so much for joining us today. It's a true honor to have you on here. Really is. I have an abundance of respect for you and everything that you're doing. You
got the money there.
No, but seriously,
yeah,
the work you're doing with Abuela Doulas, everything outside of that, you're like a birthing advocate, like extraordinaire life coach. You're doing it all. Like you're doing so much, and we're so grateful for you. And I just wanted to have you on here just because with these episodes and with these series, I'm trying to give visibility to people who could really change women's birthing journeys. And I feel like there's still so many women out there that don't even know what a doula is, and it's so key. And I just thought you would be the perfect person to kind of give us a bit of insight. So if you wouldn't mind telling us, just giving us a basic explanation of what a doula is and how you got into it, we'd love to hear.
So firstly, Kayla's not talking about a jeweler who makes jewels. I'm not a jeweler. Nor is Kayla speaking like the guy at a party that I met years ago who said, you're a dealer. No, not a dealer either, but a doula. So a doula, in short, is a professional birth companion, someone who supports you, nourishes and nurtures you through your perinatal journey. You may get a doula at the beginning of your pregnancy, someone to help you crafting your birth plan, your hopes and wishes. And when you all get caught up in but shouldn't have a plan because what if it doesn't happen? Well, lots of things don't go according to plan. I wanted to go to the park. It rained. Change that plan. So plans can be changed. But we're there as your physical, spiritual and emotional support. We're there as your consistency. So that's through the whole perinatal period. A lot of people, when they think of doulas, think about birth doulas. And a birth doula is someone who will visit you antenatally, have sessions with you. You will go into labour, they'll stay with you all the way through the labour, whether it's 4 hours or 44 hours, right through till you've had the baby, and then spend some time with you afterwards to make sure that you've initiated the first feed and that you're feeling safe and well. And then they'll come back to visit you postnatally in the sort of early weeks to just check all is well. Then we have postpartum, postnatal doulas who may work with you in pregnancy and birth, or you may simply want a postnatal doula. And what they'll do, particularly if they're trained by Abuela Doulas, oh yes, is they will nurture you and nourish you. They will spiritually, emotionally, physically. They're not just going to come and do the washing up, cook some food. But if they are cooking food, they do know that you need warming foods inside you. So they're there to be with you, to listen to you, to support you, to be that sounding board, etc. And then, of course, we go into the whole holistic doula realm where there are abortion doulas, and death
Oh
doulas as
wow.
well. Oh, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I
I mean,
wasn't
it's
aware
amazing
of
because,
that.
well, if you think about it, life and death are just two sides of the same coin,
Mm-hmm.
right? So life happens to us, death happens to us, no longer at life. So a doula, in short, is someone that walks alongside you during these pivotal moments in your life. I mean, I did once see someone in the US, it was a dog doula, and I'm like, as a non-creature person, you can imagine my face and my reaction to it. I'm like, what are you thinking? Anyway, but I know for some of you, you're immediately going to switch off and go, oh my gosh, she doesn't like creatures. Well, you know, I kind of do if they're on my plate. But yes. And yes, exactly as you said, Bibby doll. Well, hey, gotta be real. It is wonderful to have that companion on both or either journeys. So I hope that answers your sort of basic question as to what is a doula. A doula is someone who's gonna love on you.
Mm-hmm.
A doula is someone who's going to walk with you, be your companion on this journey, not to put their thoughts, their decisions, their advice on you, but to help you to listen to yourself, to listen to your instinctual self, to remind you when you're getting it right, because everybody wants to tell you how you're fucking up, how you're getting it wrong.
Yes, indeed.
But your doula is there to say to you, hey, good job. You're like, oh, but I only managed to express 2 mils of milk. Well, that's fantastic. That's 2 mils more than you did yesterday. This is wonderful. How can I support you so that you continue on? Or is that all that you want to do? How can I sit with you in the space where you are now? Love being a doula.
So Mars, for people that don't
Yes.
have any support, so they don't have any close friends or family, can a doula take the place of that birthing partner to support them through the perinatal period, or is that too...
No. I've supported single parents. I've supported people who've been on their own. I've supported people who haven't wanted family members with them. And I've supported people who the partner that would have supported them has died and is no longer around. But I want people to know that just because we do those things, that's not the only role of a doula. You don't just get a doula if you don't have someone with you. Because what a doula will do is a doula will support the whole family, support your partner as your partner's there. I often have, I remember one guy said to me, I don't know how you did it, but you were just always there. And yet you weren't there, and yet you were always there. And basically what he meant was when I saw that his partner needed something, food, drink or whatever, I just popped it in his hands and he'd be like, oh, and then he'd, give it to her, etc. A good doula, I think a good doula, will sit back and let birth unfold and come forward if needed. So it's not just for people without partners, it's for people with partners as well. Sometimes partners don't want to be in on the birth, and I don't see why they should have to be if they don't want to. I've supported births where the dad, in these 2 cases, didn't want to be in the birth because hospitals just made them pass out, or they really had a phobia of hospitals. And so I supported their wives in labour and in birth. And then for the one that could come in, brought him in, and for the other, got them home as soon as possible. But, for different reasons, people may or may not want to be part of the birthing experience, or the person who's giving birth may not want them there. And the easiest way to not have someone there, sometimes, I think, is say, oh, we've got a doula, they're a professional, they know all of this stuff. You would be wonderful, but we can only have this person, so this is what we're going to do. Because let's face it, people are people. Some are wonderful, some are assholes. What are you going to do?
And in certain situations as well, they might be perfect in every other aspect of life, but in that situation, you just like, that's not the energy I need. So
absolutely. And you need to be feeling safe.
That's right.
And warm and heard and held in that space. You don't want to be birthing worried about what someone else is doing or someone else is thinking. You want to be able to switch off the neocortex, the thinking part of your brain, switch it off and just go into your instinctual self and let that instinctual primitive self rise as your body does this glorious thing called birth.
Fantastic. So would you mind, I know you've been doing this for a very long time, but I just think it's so key. It's so key to understanding your own journey into this as well, because it's such a key part of everything that you do, and the passion and the value behind what you do. So would you mind just telling us a little bit about how you came to be a doula?
No, that's fine. So I discovered after I'd been a doula for about 5 years that most people became doulas because of bad birth experiences or good birth experiences. And I looked at my 5 kids, 4 birth experiences, and thought, oh, was I supposed to talk about that? Because it wasn't actually them that brought me into the space, except in a way it was, because the twins were tiny. And I went to a coffee morning, and but I knew that if I went to the coffee morning, not a fan, I knew if I went to the coffee morning, people would grab the twins and take them away, which meant I could sit and have a cuppa and a cake in peace and quiet.
Clever.
And of course I arrived, the twins vanish. You know, no one comes to the house and takes them away. You have to take them somewhere, then everybody descends. And so then I heard a conversation about doulas, and I remembered that I'd supported my sister, and I'd supported, and a few years before I'd supported a friend as she gave birth to her son.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, I didn't know you could do this as for a living. So I went along to the course. So basic nosiness took me there, with Michel Audant and an amazing French obstetrician, and Liliana Lamas, an amazing doula. And I came away thinking, oh my God, all of these amazing things, the hormones of birth, the physiology of birth, when you make things quiet. Oh, this is amazing. I want to have another baby. Remember, I had 5 at the time. 5. As I put the key in the door when I got home, I went, actually, it's a little bit excessive to have another baby just to experience this. So I then spent the last part of the best part of the last 2 decades being jealous of my clients for getting a me at their birth. But if you think about it, I did have friends at a few of my births because I just instinctually knew that for me, I needed another woman with me.
Yeah. And
I remember 1, 2, 3 of the births I had someone with me. Though the 3rd birth, things that I can't say out loud and live because it might go bad to people, happened so that the birth partner of my choice couldn't be there because of someone else. And I didn't have anyone with me for the twins because I was developing preeclampsia and so had an elective cesarean. But instinctively, I knew that I needed another woman with me. I just needed that energy. And the 2 women that came with me to the 2 births, they didn't really know anything about birth, but they did know how to support me. And that was what I needed.
Well, that's so key, isn't it, as well, having the right people around at these moments, because like you said, you just needed a specific type of energy to support you in that space. And like you said, you switch off your brain and you go, and it becomes intuitive, and it's all about that intuition. Oh, sorry, someone's at my door.
Of course.
And you need somebody that understands that and that is not going to interrupt you whilst you're in that space and whilst you're going in and out of being present and being in your body, you know. So I love your journey into the doula space. It's wonderful. And I just wanted to ask, what is the meaning behind Abuela Doulas? I mean, I kind of know. I did like Spanish GCSE, but I just for you to call and tell us what Abuela Doulas is, what it stands for.
Yeah. So Abuela is Spanish for grandmother, and oh my God, isn't it just a beautiful word that rolls off the tongue?
It is.
So I knew that I loved 2 words for grandmother, Abuela and Nonna. So with my grandbabies, I'm Nonna. For the doula work, I'm Abuela. And I wanted a word that said grandmother, because I believe in bringing the wisdom of our ancestors forward into modern birth. We stand on the shoulders of these amazing people who've done amazing things in the world of birth. And I wanted to bring that wisdom in, because what we see is a highly medicalized version of birth, on the TV, on the radio, on our computer screens, we hear all the horror of birth and how dangerous birth is and how awful birth is. And we've lost the centering of the birthing person. We've lost the sacredness of the birth. I can ignore it if you can ignore it. I'm a mother of 5 kids. I can ignore anything I don't want to hear. Okay. So, okay, well, whilst you're gone answering the door. So, for me, it's really important that the wisdom that we have from our ancestors, that's all right, the wisdom that we have from our ancestors, from our grandmothers and their grandmothers, it's important that they come forward. And a lot of that is lost in birth at the moment. And a lot of that is lost in the doula education that we get and that we give. Because we just think, oh, well, you know, it's just modern times now, let's do modern things. And so we end up losing a lot of the wisdom and the love and the knowledge that was already there. So when you train with Abuela doulas, what I get you to do is look back into your own culture, whether you're black, brown, or indifferent. Now, the reason I started Abuela doulas is because when I first sort of became a doula, I belonged to a doula organization, and whenever someone black sort of inquired, are there any black doulas, I was always the one pointed to. Now, I knew that I wasn't the only black doula in the country, but I was the one that was constantly pointed to. But that wasn't it. But that started something in me. It's like, wait, hang on, where the black and brown bodied people? Where's the representation? Why don't the people like me see people like me as part of their birthing journeys? And we all know the whole white savior thing, where, well, they don't need a black doula because they can have me and I can do this. But the other thing that I was seeing and continually seeing was the gap in maternal mortality and morbidity. I mean, I started at the top of the call saying I just came in off of the back of a Black Maternal Health Roundtable, of which I go to, you know, many of those. And so the work that I do as a birth activist is about closing that gap. We know here in the UK, black-bodied women are 4.35 times more likely to die in the perinatal period than our white-bodied counterparts. In the States, it's 3 to 4 times. In some hospitals, it's as high as 12 times more likely. And it's not because we're black, because that's racial science. And there's nothing in biology that proves that our bodies are shit and shocking at giving birth. We wouldn't be the global majority if it was so. That's right. So we know that there is, in the words of Professor Marion Knight, who does the Embrace study, a constellation of biases. We also know that our lived lives bring lots of microaggressions. We live with much higher levels of cortisol as black-bodied people than our white-bodied counterparts. We're constantly in our sort of nervous system, in that sympathetic system where we're in a state of freeze, flight, hypervigilance. So all of those things play a part in our bodies, so that when we appear and we present to be giving birth, obviously some of those pre-existing conditions, those chronic conditions come with us, not because our bodies are black bodies, but because we're racialized as black, and the continual microaggressions and things come at us. So when it comes to Abuela doulas, I wanted to train doulas, educate doulas who understood this, who knew what this meant on a real, sort of a deeper level, not just a tick box of, here's our cultural competency section, here's our inclusion section, this is what we think about. Did you know the statistics about? This is about cultural humility, cultural safety, and real cultural empathy and practice. So I train predominantly black and brown bodied doulas, but I also train white bodied doulas. And the white bodied doulas that come and train with me know that, one, they're not going to be centered, but most importantly, they know that when they come out, they are going to know how to center their black and brown bodied clients. they're going to know how to advocate with and for their black and brown bodied clients. Because as a doula, or when I trained as a doula, and a lot of the language that I heard sort of coming up in the doula world was, you don't advocate, but that only works if your client is in a place of privilege.
Yes.
That only works if you are a person of privilege. They don't need advocating for. Well, sometimes they don't.
Yes.
But when it comes to black and brown bodied people, they bloody do. When you have clients, South Asian clients, who dress up in their best clothes just to go to an antenatal appointment so that they can be seen as well-to-do or intelligent and important, well, then, of course, you have to advocate for them, particularly when those same clients are in labour and the midwife or the doctor or the healthcare professional is treating them like crap.
That's right.
The private system, no better, because it's the same people. People are people all over.
Right.
And unintentional bias, unconscious bias, anti-blackness walks into the room with them. It just walks into the room with them. And I remember someone criticising Rochelle Humes when they found out that she was going to be presenting the Black Maternity Scandal documentary on Channel 4 that I was part of. And they said, what would she know? She will have given birth in the private sector. Well, I'm a doula who supported clients in both the NHS, so the state, and the private, the public sector. And let me tell you this, anti-blackness don't care how much money you got.
That's right.
Don't believe me? Look at Serena Williams and what happened to her. Don't believe me? Look at Ketanji Jackson, the new
in America.
Supreme Court judge. Look at the hoops she had to go through, despite being more qualified than most, if not all, of the people on that bloody justice panel. So anti-blackness has no socioeconomic, no educational, no class, no boundaries. It just goes in and it just attacks you. So when you come to be a doula, when you come to train with the Abuela doulas, you get that education. You understand the importance of the advocacy. You know when to step back and when to step forward. Does that answer your question? That
perfectly answers my question, and I'm so glad that you went on to explain the types of people you train, because I was going to mention that as quite an instrumental point, that you do I know that you train predominantly black and brown bodies, but that you do also train our white counterparts as well, because it's key for the work to be done, for us to progress together as a people, for us to have a deeper understanding on all sides, you know. But that work has to need to be done from within, rather than you know, we can't keep answering the questions for everybody else. They have to want to do the work. So I thought that was really important, so thank you for highlighting that.
No, you're welcome. I mean, you may or may not be able to tell I'm a little bit passionate about this, you know, but just a tad. But it's been really important to me since I started to colour in the landscape of birth. I think I can proudly say that because of me and my big mouth, and I love this big mouth of mine, so I don't care what anyone says about being loud. Right. But I think I can quite happily say that a lot of the colouring in has been done because I've been banging on about it for years. I've been calling people to account for it. I mean, I even know one organisation that completely changed all of their imagery to be black imagery, and I called them out on that, because that's just digital blackface, babe. You're not providing for or caring for or serving the black and brown bodied community. So why are you putting their face everywhere? This isn't about, let me get rid of white imagery and put in black imagery. It's about being fully inclusive. That's right. And something else that has happened. Sorry, see, I told you, get me on a roll and I keep going. Something else that has happened. When you center black-bodied people, when you raise them up, people get vexed. They don't want them to be at the center of their own conversation. So they bring everybody else in. But the upside of that is, because of the conversation about black and brown bodied people, we're now having more of a conversation about the LGBTQ plus population and community, and the trans community and the disabled community, because we've centered black women. Oh yeah, but what about? I know. All of those marginalized groups, totally important. But if your conversation is about black maternal health, then let your conversation be about black maternal health. And if your next conversation is about Q plus competency and the Q plus community, then let that be your conversation. Sometimes they join. I was reading and I discovered that intersectionality is a word that we drop and we use a lot. But intersectionality is yet another co-opted phrase, because intersectionality was about the intersectionality of black people's lives, where their blackness intersects with birth, with health, with death, with work, with finance, etc. But the phrase has been co-opted and taken on, so now we talk about intersectionality of peoples, all the peoples. And as I was reading that, I thought, so have we gone back to another example of black people are the conversation? Oh, let's move them out of the way and bring in all the what ifs, bring everything else in. Because, you know, it's like if I talk about black maternal health, well, I'm going to be really cross with you, Mars, because what about these people? I can care about more than one thing at the same time. Right. But there's only one of me. And this one of me is a black-bodied woman that cares for black-bodied women and black-bodied people who are going through birth. Oh, who said that? Sunshine. You know me. I'm not shy. I'm going to say whatever it is that's there. That's why I'm Mars, god of war, god of thunder, and not sweet like chocolate.
This is the thing, Sunshine. We should be able to say these things, and that's the whole point of this space that I'm trying to create as well. Like everything we're saying is valid, and there's room for it all. We just have to work to normalize it, and that's a collaborative effort.
Absolutely.
And we need to make people aware that it is a collaborative effort, that we all have to be involved and be proactive in it for us to progress. You know?
Yeah. And so this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about black maternal health, and I include my brown-bodied sisters and people in that, because we know that mixed heritage people are 3 times as likely to die. We know that South Asians are twice as likely to die. And for those of you that are white birthing people with black partners, your risk is up there too. So, oh wait, if your risk is up there too, then it's not about the biology, then it's not about the ethnicity, it's about the being racialized as the black father that's told to be quiet and to sit down because he's being aggressive when he advocates for his partner and is moved out of the way and out of the room. So, me, if you're going to talk to me, I'm always going to bring it back to the black-bodied people.
But that's why I have you on here, because I know you're just going to be real, and you're just going to be yourself, and you're going to say what needs to be said. I'm not shying away from these conversations, you know, because
excellent.
The work needs
me
to
either.
Be done. Yeah, I know you're not, Mars. But I think we're just going to wrap things up now. So thank you for coming on board today.
You're welcome.
And educating us and filling us with all of your knowledge and your wisdom. As always, I've enjoyed every minute.
You're welcome.
We will have Mars's blog post up on the site over the next couple of days, so look out for that if you want some more information about Abuela Doulas and all of the incredible work she does. But we're so thankful, Mars. Thank you so much for coming on today. And
it's my absolute pleasure.
I will speak to you soon. Thank you so much.
Speak to you soon, my love. Bye-bye.
Mwah.